Hey everyone, welcome to the October edition, Pinky Autonomy Worldwide, brought to you by Club 602 and Puro in downtown Chandler. This month, as usual, got some beauties to take a look at. Taking a trip around the world, starting in Italy with a frizzante, lightly sparkling wine from L'Antica Quercia, su alto, so has a little bit of elevation going on with their aging, and made from fully wild yeasts, bottled in the traditional method, so very atypical of most Prosecco. So we're really excited about that one. We have beautiful Sauvignon Blanc from the Marlborough region of New Zealand, coming to us from Catalina Sounds. Pretty atypical though for the region, so another one on the list of excitement. And to round it all off, going to France for the Mouton Cadet Cuvée Heritage. This one's really special because it's actually from one of the most well-known portfolios in not only France but all the world, and that would be Mouton Rochi. And so getting a little taste of Bordeaux at a nice price. So starting off with the Quercia Antica su alto frizzante. So it also has a couple other things on the label: col fondo and indigeno. And so col fondo just really refers to aging on lees, which is actually the yeast left in the bottle with no filtration. So, not only is this traditionally method made, it's pretty atypical because there's no filtration happening. There's a lot of just kind of natural, whatever happens in the bottle happens. Like every little bottle might taste a bit different, and they're okay with that. So pretty cool as far as that goes. But 100% Glera, which is how most Prosecco, actually how all Prosecco from the region is produced. So taking a quick look at the color, definitely straw, but it's a little bit hazy, and the haziness is attributed to the yeast that's left over in the bottle. You can serve it a couple different ways. You can let it sit upright in your fridge before you serve it. And then when you pour it, it won't be quite as hazy or turbid. Or you can go ahead and lay it down, and then kind of give it a little bit of swirl. You don't want to shake it too much because the bubbles don't really like that. But if you do that, you'll definitely see a little more cloudiness going on, and that just adds to the complexity of the wine itself. So, yep, straw and a little bit hazy. Onto the nose. Got some interesting fruit going on. A little bit of apricot, maybe some peach. The citrus is pretty bright, and there's a little bit of a floral undertone. But also, you can definitely tell the yeastiness in there just on the nose. So we're assuming that's going to translate over to the palate. Onto the palate. Time for a taste. One of the first things you notice is the level of bubbles. It's not crazy, punching your face like a Prosecco. It's just very lightly bubbled, and that's very true of most frizzante style. Essentially, because everything is done, fully in the bottle and naturally, every bottle might have a little bit a different amount of bubbles, which is something fun and unique and definitely interesting to kind of keep your eye on. The citrus definitely comes through on the palate. Another thing though is bone dry. when it comes to making any sparkling wine, they'll add at the very end kind of a sugary wine solution to get whatever level of dryness they're looking for. And this one can be considered vin natural, which is literally none added. And so definitely bone dry, has very crisp acidity. There's a little bit of like almost a pear that's like not quite ripe going on in there. The sourdough, almost, bready, definitely yeasty. It's kind of a light earthiness, like in the mushroom sense. And then there's like a little bit of saline going on, a little bit of saltiness. So, and that again, just a byproduct of the natural method in which they're producing this wine. So, as far as what to pair with, a lot of different ways. I mean, oysters, big yes, not only because of the bubbles, but the salinity and the citrus. You could definitely do, a nice tart acidic cheese like some Chev, like a mild feta. That saltiness would be great. Do some aged Asiago maybe, like burrata with some heirloom tomato, like that creaminess, a little bit of olive oil on top, or like basil oil. That would be a definite win. Getting to like the seafood realm, like, man, hamachi crudo would be excellent, just because you have the oil with the light fish going on. That this would cut through very nicely. Ceviche would be another great pairing, just because the acidity in the ceviche would be cut nicely from the bubbles. If you want to keep it colloquial, like, mussels in a white wine garlic broth. I mean, caviar is an easy one too, just because, again, just that, nice acidity and bubbles kind of help to cut through that, really just intense ocean flavor you get in the caviar. Other sushi too, you can go anything with like kind of a ponzu element or like a yuzu element. Definitely doing the right thing. So, cheers down the. Yeah, that's a win for sure. All right. Moving on to the Catalina Sound Sauvignon Blanc. Coming from the Marlborough region in New Zealand. Wow, this one's a 2022. And again, really very thoughtful about their winemaking methods, and definitely a vegetarian, kind of vegan friendly wine. They're all about the slow, cool fermentation, and they actually do rest it on the lees. So again, they're letting the yeast come in contact with the wine for a lot longer than usual, and so that actually does play a nice part in keeping the balance of this wine. So, all right, taking a look at the color, got kind of a pale gold going on. It's like a tiny tinge of green too, which you'll definitely find in Sauvignon Blancs. Onto the smell, the nose, man, big nose, vibrant peach. There's definitely apricot. Elderflower jumps out in a big way, and then passion fruit, like the tart but tropical, really hits, which is beautiful. Kind of lightly herbaceous, and there's a little kind of hint of like yellow bell pepper in there as well, to just add kind of nice like vegetal undertone on to the palate. Tasting, wow. So yeah, that passion fruit definitely jumps out in the best way, because it's not overly sweet. The citrus element is tart, the peach is there, but that passion fruit really jumps out. The acidity and the minerality are both present and very crisp. there is kind of a sweet brioche element, again, from that extended lees contact. Really helps to keep this wine not only balanced, but keeps it from jumping into one direction or the other too far. There's some light vegetal notes as well. There's that little bit of bell pepper, kind of peaks out a little bit. Yeah, definitely well balanced with the fruit and acidity. So beautiful expression. On to pairings. Yeah, again with the goat cheese for sure. I mean, goat cheese and Sauvignon Blanc is time honored, so it doesn't matter where in the world it's from. You can always get away with that. Big brie with like some green apples and honey would be excellent with this. Go to your favorite grilled fish taco spot. Take a little bit of this with you. Some lightly seared scallops would be wonderful with this. Again, to the sushi with citrus kind of yuzu-y elements. Like a pork tenderloin with it's kind of like herbal cream sauce would be wonderful. You can get into like some lightly spiced Thai food, which I think would be great. Or I don't even know, like a banh mi sandwich. If you get your favorite Vietnamese joint, get one to go and enjoy. All right, guys. On to the Mouton Cadet, 2020 Bordeaux. It's not necessarily, so the actual Mouton Rochi Chateau is on the left bank, which is definitely more renowned for their Cabernet, but this actual blend is a little higher in Merlot and kind of highlights from all over the Bordeaux region. And so this is 85% Merlot, 15% Cab. Like I said, sourced from all over, so they're definitely a good kind of broad spectrum of the area. Just taking a look. It's got a very deep kind of garnet in color. It's almost that kind of brick red going on. That would lend to me thinking that the minerality, like limestone, like kind of shale, is going to be present there. Onto the nose. The fruit's pretty restrained, which you would expect, especially coming from this area in France. A little bit cherry, a little bit of blackberry going on. It's a little hint of vanilla, which I would assume would indicate some new French oak barrels that they're aging in. And there's kind of a light floral note in there that would definitely tracks just based on the fact that it is so heavy in Merlot. To the taste. Oh yeah, that tart cherry's there. And the blackberry. But there's like a not quite ripe strawberry going on too. Like you picked the wrong one out of the bin. It wasn't ready yet. There's a little bit of tobacco, that again, pretty normal, with the amount of Merlot present. Definitely some decent tannins. I'd say like medium level tannin, that help to kind of keep it balanced. Fruit, baking spice, and vanilla, indicating the oak, and then the mineralities there. A little bit of limestone going on, and again that shale is pretty present. And so overall incredibly balanced. Great representation of Bordeaux as a region, and as far as pairings go, I mean, this is the sky's the limit wine because, it's powerful enough to stand up to some big, rich, heavy dishes, but it's also muted enough to maybe enjoy something a little more subtle with it. Starting with cheese, of course. I mean, aged Gouda. Yes. Blue cheese for contrast. Just because this one is like tart enough that the richness and the kind of funk in the blue cheese would contrast it well. So taking that idea and, throwing some blue cheese on like a grilled ribeye or like in New York, with that fattiness and that blue cheese with this wine would be just about correct, I think. You could also do some manchego cheese or any aged cheese that has a little bit of backbone and funk to it. You're doing the right thing. Prime rib, yeah, perfect. Little duck, like you could do, not only the duck breast itself, but some of the confit leg would be beautiful. Very short ribs, very much so. Just I think, the rich fattiness all rendered down with this, firm but tart wine would be a wonderful pairing. Get into the cured meats, anything like strong cured, prosciutto, mortadella, like a really funky salami or something like that. Yeah, definitely doing the right thing. So, well, those are the 3 for the month of October. Happy spooky season, everybody. Can't wait to see y'all at the tasting. And, if you have any questions or anything like that, drop them in the comments below. Try to get some answered if anyone has anything they want to chat about. So, again, thanks to Club 602 and Puro for making this possible, and we'll be seeing y'all soon. Cheers.